It's time now for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
Boom, 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 chickadee chanker. How's it going, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on the Pig and the Hen Show, joined by Henry Hotspur here once again. Little bonus show for you on the Friday today. Thank you for joining me, Henry. Henry, how's it going over there, mate, in Thailand?
Very well, still enjoying my days, enjoying everything that Thailand has to offer. I mean, but the thing is, despite the fruits out here, I still come running straight back to a Pig and the Hen Show opportunity because, you know, I live and breathe the Pig and the Hen. This is what we're about, Pig. This is what we live for. Doesn't matter whether you're sat on a couch in southern England or whether you're out, you know, in the high 20 degrees, beautiful place of Jomtien Beach in Pattaya. You know, the Pig and the Hen is that's what
you're
we're
making
about.
Me feel like I need a holiday now, mate. To be fair, like, crikey, yeah, it is a bit miserable around here.
You do. Mate.
Either way, thank you very much for joining us, mate. Thanks for getting in here and stopping by. Basically, just a bonus Pig and the Hen Show today. We've got our resident Spurs fan here. I want to discuss a couple of the major talking points of the day, which I guess we have to talk about the game last night, which of course Manchester United smashed up Club Bruges 5-0 at Old Trafford, 6-1 on aggregate, absolute dominating battering by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United, helped by the fact that their player did, you know, get sent off quite near the start for some ridiculous defender. Did you see that incident, Henry, or did you miss that one where he's?
I did.
What's he doing, that
guy?
I
mean, is he their backup keeper? Because he should.
It was a good save.
It was a brilliant
close
save,
range.
wasn't it? You know, it's almost like. You know, I mean, yeah, it was unbelievable. It's kind of like, surely he knows that if he's making a dive for it, outstretched hand, it's a proper keeper move. I mean, you rarely see that. You know, you see defenders being a little bit silly here and there, just sort of holding a hand up when they shouldn't be, just like an instant kind of reaction where it's almost subconscious in some respects. This one was completely different. This is where he's literally, you know, almost preempted the fact that this guy's going to shoot, and he's got into Peter Schmeichel mode. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't see that. Sometimes you see a defender randomly have a bit of a spasm moment in their brain, and they put their hand up in the air and touch a ball or something. It's just silly like that. Or like when Luis Suarez did it in the World Cup.
Like
and he cleared it off the line, like in the last minute. He knows he's going to get the red, but he's doing it for his team. But this one was just like, he had just a complete brain fart moment. Like, what's he doing, this guy? That was hilarious, though.
No, I mean, the movement, I mean, it's almost like, people are already doing it on YouTube, I'm sure, but that whole clip should be slow motion, play the music, you know, like that epic moment where he's just diving to his left, outstretched hand, and saves it. I mean, it's epic.
To be fair, can you blame him, though, if you had Simon Mignolet behind you? You know? Like, would that fill you with the most confidence? Probably thought I've got to do the job of two men out here tonight. To be fair to Mignolet, he actually had a really good game.
It's got to have been.
He conceded 5, but he made some good stops.
He did. It's good to see him still involved in the game, you know, because, you know, he wasn't treated so well by Liverpool, was he, in the end? But there we go. But no, mate, I'm still just imagining that Chariots of Fire music comes on. Mignolet's kind of trying to save it, but no, someone else steps in. Someone else has got to be the hero at that moment. It's brilliant, mate. We got if that video hasn't been made, let's make it. Or someone make it for us, because that
was hilarious. That was hilarious. Fair play to him. It definitely gave us a leg up. And some may say, you know, we did flatter because of that whole incident, because he did get sent off. It gave United a bit of an easier task, well, a lot of an easier task, really. It gave players like Igalo an easier task and Bruno an easier task. But the fact is, these players still looked mustard. We actually started the game, you know, unbelievably well, kicked off, and we were right at them. We were playing high intensity, high speed football. It was really tenacious, and it was good stuff right from the off. So that's what I enjoyed seeing last night. And then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's changed it up at half-time to rest the players for the next game, which is brilliant. So it was just a perfectly well-executed game plan. great performances from the players out there. I mean, I want to talk about Bruno Fernandes, but you know, before I do, I just want to get into the live chat and just say a big thank you to everybody that's stopping by on this live show, random bonus Pig in the Hen show today. Little short one. It's not going to be a long one or anything, but we wanted to jump on live and just have a little chat about, you know, some of the football headlines to do with United mainly, really. So if you are joining us right now, please do smash a cheeky little like on this video and get your thoughts and opinions in the live comments. What I would say is that last time around, I noticed the levels of the audio were slightly off. So if anybody, you know, let's say somebody trusted, wants to just say, you know, pig's a bit louder or hen's a bit louder or whatever at times, let me know, because that would definitely help us out with the production quality of the show. But thank you to everybody that's...
So perfect volumes, though. Perfect volumes is surely, like, you really minimal. And me
well, that's
nice
what it
and
was
loud,
last time.
you know,
I
nobody
must
wants
say
to
it
hear
made
your
for a horrendous
bullshit,
listening show. But fair play. Ill United is in here. How you doing? Michael Blake, Josh Drain, Ian T, Cantonar 7, Chananaki, Glenn. Who else is in it? Eddie A, Alex the Rinconator, Poax, the Saint, Arthur of Us, Rudd, Chocolate Salty Balls, Gungshi's in the house. How you doing? Yeah, he says, what the Pig in the Hen bonus show getting there, my son. Poisonous Nut is in here too. I'm just giving a shout out to bloody everybody, Henry. Give us a sec. DJ Fergus, Razak, Abdi Leebax, Dwayne Allain, the Music Fiend. We've got a bunch of the usual legends in here right now. Football with Brownie, how you doing? Archie, Marshall Gralla. It's great to have you all on board. Thank you very much for stopping by. I probably missed like one person there, and they're going to hate me for the rest of their lives. Do you know what I mean? But thank you.
I mean, absolutely massive respect to some of those names that I recognise. Some of those names I don't. So absolutely amazing. Me and the Pig were actually speaking in private earlier, and it's kind of I think the Pig in the Hen show is becoming more and more normal and natural. We can just jump on the show. We can talk about anything. You know, nothing feels difficult, and we're almost at the stage where we could almost do a show every night if we wanted. You know.
Yeah, I don't know about that, mate, but no, fair play, Jen.
Am I not selling that to you?
No,
Bad
I know
pitch,
what you're
bad
saying, though.
pitch.
Like, if you go back and look at the first Pig in the Hen show, or some of the first Pig in the Hen shows, I think even though we're not in the same room, we're just better at keeping a conversation going now. Like, obviously, these are completely unscripted, unplanned, just we don't know the length of them. Sometimes we're going to come out with some shite.
It's because we're better friends. We obviously like each other more. That's why we get on so well.
Hey, I want to just shout out Alex Rincon early on, who's just sent in a super chat and said, a surprise Pig in the Hen is the perfect way to start my day off. Nice one, the Rinconator. I can think of a couple of better ways, but still, Pig in the Hen show viewing, definitely a decent one, I would imagine.
That sounded so sincere.
Alex Rudd.
Shedding a tear, that rhyme.
Alex Rudd, mate, as well. He says, good to see you guys. Good to see you too, Rudd, mate. What can I say, Alex Rudd? Let's just talk about this for a moment, actually, Henry, because Alex is obviously a big Arsenal fan. We've got a couple of Arsenal fans that do tune in on the channel. If you've not seen my reaction to the Arsenal game, I actually it was still on when I was watching it because there was extra time. It was still on after the Manchester United Bruges game. So when I was doing my post-match show from that, I actually did catch the end of the Arsenal game, and it was one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. Oh my days, what a North London bottle that was. I must say, like, just the way that it happened, Aubameyang's got one back. You're thinking fair play Obama, you know, he's been a good player for Arsenal. And he is a good player for Arsenal, to be fair. It's not Obama's fault, really. But then they conceded right near the end. Olympiacos score. They're out. And then just in the last dying seconds, the dying embers of the game, Aubameyang gets a gilt-edged opportunity. Literally, you would expect him to put in, I don't know, maybe 49 times out of 50. One of those sort of opportunities. And he absolutely freaking melted. And it was just like, I feel really bad for him, actually. He looked pretty upset, and it obviously affected him. But you know, it was just awesome that Arsenal got knocked out. Sorry about that, Arsenal fans, but that's just how I feel. It's just banter, you know. Of course, you'd feel the same.
Yeah, I think you're being a bit harsh there. I mean, if you actually look at how many goals Aubameyang has scored this season,
well, yeah, no, I'm not saying he's a bad player.
You know, he's right up there. I think you've got Vardy at the top still. Is it? I think Aubameyang, is he not joint top goal scorer of the season, playing at an Arsenal team that is essentially has been mid-table, and that they've kind of had a little bit of upturn in results since Arteta came in.
Joint
I don't know
scorer?
why I'm fighting Arsenal's score right now, but he's right up there, mate.
I don't even know if he's got as many as Marcus Rashford, has he?
As I said, I don't know what. I think he's got
I
a
don't
lot
know,
of
fair
goals.
play. No,
mate.
he's
lot
a
of
great goal
goals.
scorer for the man. He really is. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is it was just funny how it happened. Like, he literally melted. He's a talented player. He's one of their best players. In a lot of ways, he's too good for Arsenal. Arsenal fans don't deserve Aubameyang in a lot of ways, because I've seen a bunch of them tearing him apart on social media for that miss. It's like, fair enough, but how many times has he scored? Like, it's a melt job. You're out.
You'd be better off. You'd be better off with Aubameyang.
Mate,
than
you're spot
Martial
on.
all
He
day
is.
long.
He
I mean,
is joint top goal scorer.
If you had Aubameyang at United, you'd be loving it.
He's joint top goal scorer, mate. He's got 17 goals with Vardy.
I told you.
So Vardy's had a bit of a downturn, mate, recently, because he's been on 17 for a while.
People question why I. Well, this is what I mean. People question why do I lose the question of sin? I don't really know why, because my knowledge is.
I know that's good knowledge
from
from you there, Henry. Like, up to the minute. Do you know what I mean? Like, I haven't looked at it for maybe 2 weeks or something. It's all changed. Henry Hotspur's got his finger to the pulse on this one. Fair play to you, mate. Yeah, great to have you all in here on the show anyway. There's almost 50 of you legends tuning in already, so thank you very much for an impromptu show on a Friday. That is bloody awesome. So anyway, let's get into it a little bit more, and then we'll get back into your comments and stuff a little bit later. But Bruno Fernandes, man, oh my days, what a signing, what a bargain. He's coming from Sporting Lisbon, where he's setting the world alight over there in the Portuguese league. People had their doubts, people had their concerns, because doing it in the Premier League is a different animal than doing it over there. But I think already, after just a few games, okay, it was the Europa League last night, I'm not saying it's the Premier League, but just the last few games, we can all see the quality of the man, the skill of the man, the determination of the man, the leadership of the man out there. He's orchestrating things out there for United's midfield, He's playing some of these key passes. He's dragging the team on. He's looking for forward passes. He's looking to play on the shoulder. He's looking to get, round the corner. The guy is an absolute menace for United in that midfield, and it's a breath of fresh air. We've been needing this a long time. We've been all banging on about it a long time. We need that creative spark. We were hoping Pogba was going to be that. Bruno Fernandes is what Paul Pogba should have been, but he's never lived up to it. Whereas Bruno's come in after a few games, he's already looking like he's going to be one of the best. I mean, dare I say, the best players in the league. Certainly, I think by the end of next season, he probably would have cemented himself as being a great player in the league. So we've got ourselves a real gem here, and I think it's kind of a surprise that there were not other top clubs, certainly in the Premier League. I know Tottenham are rumoured to be interested in him at once, Henry, but there were not other top clubs interested in signing him. I think United have got a steal here.
Yeah, well, I can't disagree with that at all. I mean, you look at the way the guy plays, it's not just about the way he's playing, it's the way that he's communicating. I mean, time and time again, I can see that he's talking to his teammates as if he's been playing with the rest of the United squad for months. And as we know, he's only been there a couple of weeks now. So, I mean, that's a brilliant sign. He just exudes confidence. He's a focal point that you've been missing. I know that Ole Gunnar kind of compared him to a Scholesy. I know that's a big name to live up to. For me, in many respects, I mean, I know it's a completely different type of player, but what you need is a communicator, a focal point of the side, and it almost reminds me of Roy Keane. I know Roy Keane was a completely different type of player, but he was a focal point of the side when Roy Keane was captain of the side. I see Bruno Fernandes as a natural captain of Manchester United. I think that's going to happen if he continues to put in the performances that he is, controlling the middle of your attacking play there, which he has been.
Interesting. I've not really thought about that, but I guess with the leadership he displays out there, with the style of how he plays and everything, maybe in the future that could happen. Possible vice captain. Slabby's the captain, isn't he, at the moment? So I don't know if we'll see, but future captain, Henry. Definite future captain. I think you've touched on something.
Well, he's certainly got leadership qualities. I mean, you look at the way that Juan Mata played yesterday. You've got McTominay coming into the side after a bit of time off. That had a great performance, because I feel like he had confidence because he had Fernandes playing in front of him. As I said, Mata looked fantastic. Igalo, I mean, it's almost the pressure's off Igalo because Fernandes is playing so well. Igalo's come in, he's new to the side, but the pressure's off him. You know, the eyes are on Fernandes. Fernandes is doing the job for Manchester United, and the rest of the team can tick over like clockwork. And that's how it was for me. I mean, I hate to listen to myself right now. I almost want to gag in my mouth because I don't want to be saying how great your team's doing, but I've got to be honest.
Come on, my son. That's what I like to hear, Henry. Fair play to you. Yeah, a little bit of a little bit of honesty that you don't want to give out. I love it. But thank you very much for sharing. Yeah, fair play. I think United are just in a good upturn at the moment. Bruno's going to be one of the key men for us in that midfield, and like you say, you know, Igalo's going to benefit from that. Players like Martial are going to benefit from that. The whole team, Mata, everyone's going to benefit from having Bruno there.
No, Juan Mata for me. Juan Mata was absolutely loving it. Absolutely, because Mata's that kind of player where he's experienced, he knows how to do a job, but he can't drive the whole team. He's never been the sort of player that can drive a whole team. He needs to feed off someone else that's good, kind of better, more of a driven character, and then Mata excels.
Yeah, you can see that. You know, Bruno's looking for those runs of Mata.
Brilliant.
Mata's looking for those balls from Bruno. You saw that goal that Igalo scored. Fantastic movement and fantastic team goal. That one with Bruno just orchestrating things, putting the ball over the top. Mata's put it across the 6-yard box, and Igalo's finished it. But that goal, it was like they've been playing together for a lot longer than they actually have. And you see the combination is one of the nicest assists and passes and goals that we've seen. So I just think it was a sign of things to come. You're absolutely right. Players like Mata, they're going to be loving it because they've got somebody who's on the same sort of a wavelength as them now. You know, they didn't have that before necessarily as much. But yeah, and you touched on Igalo. Crikey, man, so happy for Igalo. You know, you're talking about a United fan here from a young lad, and he's fulfilled a dream. And I didn't actually see it during the live stream, but he lifted up his shirt and he had a picture of his sister who sadly passed away, and so it's obviously a special moment for Igalo. Great to see. You know, he looks just like a very good player to have around right now. Offers us something different. He can actually hold the ball up really well. He's good with his back to goal. You saw a couple of incidents during that game where he's literally received it. He's got his back to the player. He's just used his strength to hold him off. He's found half a yard. He's had a shot on goal, or he's created something. I'm very impressed considering he's been playing over in China and hasn't actually been playing in China for a while. And it's just come over to United. Very impressed. I know he was kind of up against 10 men, but he just looked sharper than I was expecting him to. And it does help when you have a maestro like Bruno. And also Fred, I just want to talk about Fred, man. I mean, Fred scored the 2 goals at the end for United, and he's been criticised because he doesn't score a lot of goals. He's not really been a great goal-scoring midfielder, and at stages for United, he's not really been a great defensive midfielder. But recently, he's turned into a really sound defensive midfielder, and he's also turned into, well, I say also turned into a goal scorer. That's not the case, but he scored 2 yesterday anyway. That's 3 goals he scored this season now for United. So there you go. He had 1 before up to that, and I just think it's a sign of his upturn in form, because for the last, I don't know, few months, Fred's been doing some good stuff for United. He really, really has. And when you look at where he was a little while ago, it just makes me think that he's actually cemented himself. He's actually a United player. So it's almost like we've got another signing. Everything's going well for United at the moment. You know, we're going in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I've been rambling on there, mate.
No, that's fine. Absolutely fine, mate. No, the 2 points I'd like to make, going back to Igalo, think about it. You've got a player that's played in the Premier League before for Watford. You know, a decent enough player at the time, but it was what it was. You know, he goes away, he takes a massive pay rise, I'd assume, for having gone to the Chinese Super League. And suddenly he gets this opportunity, whereas like he's thinking back to a yesteryear, where he was playing in the Premier League, and he knew the type of team Manchester United was. I'd imagine when he was at Watford, United were probably in a better position, probably had a better squad than they do now, essentially. Okay. And he's thought, you know what? You know, that's the stuff of dreams. You know, United are coming in for me now. You know, I'm gonna take that, and he's gone there, and he's loving it. And it's not like a player that's just come to the Premier League that doesn't know what the Premier League's about, and that is a massive bonus. So that was probably part of the reason why, when the opportunity came to sign Igalo, especially in a January transfer window where it's all about the opportunity to sign a player rather than going out and buying the players that you want, because the January transfer window is a funny window. I mean, I think that that was such a key point. The fact that he'd had Premier League experience.
And he was just available on a short-term loan, and he wanted to come. Yeah, we didn't have a lot of choice, but in the end, we've probably actually ended up with quite a good option for at least until the end of the season, you know. And there's some talk that because he is such a United fan from a child and stuff, that if the opportunity presented itself at the end of the season, if we wanted him and he was happy here come the end of the season, and if his performances warranted it, then we might even look to try and make it permanent. But he would have to take a pay cut because he's not going to get 300k a week at United.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. That was a great signing. Well, I mean, the best signing United made all season, really, even though it's only a few games in. Actually, I can't say this because Wan-Bissaka's been sensational, but it's got, you know, Bruno Fernandes fills me with so much hope and joy, and like you said about it's not all about.
You didn't let me make my second point.
Yeah, hold on. I'll let you get onto the second point, but but Bruno Fernandes, he did come in January, like you said. It's not always who you want, it's who you can get in. So the fact we have got him in, you know, it smacks of Vidic. It smacks of that sort of a signing. Obviously, Vidic is a centre-back, but I mean, one of those January signings that turns into a proper stalwart gem for United. And even though he's coming in January and we're trying to patch up our midfield and all that, he's like going to be a United player for a long time, I think. He's going to be a great player for us. So, great signing, whatever you want to say about it, really. Over to you.
Yeah, I mean... my second point was obviously, you know, I forgot to mention Fred. You obviously mentioned Fred, the couple of goals there, improved performances as of recent. I'll go back to the point that I made earlier in this podcast today, was the fact that McTominay, having come back after a bit of time off, looked brilliant, looked confident, scored a lovely goal. And, you know, McTominay earlier on in the season was, you know, absolutely one of your best players. So you need him back. And he's looking great, and I think he was loving the fact. I know that Club Brugge went down to 10 men, so of course we've got to remember that. Okay, obviously United, it was easier for you guys to be on the front foot. Having said that, it also comes down to the fact that Bruno Fernandes is playing in front of your two, should we say, defensive midfielders there, and yeah, Fred came absolutely alive because of it, because suddenly the pressure's slightly off him. He can really show the sort of football player he is. Because the trouble is, when you're under pressure, when you're supposed to be doing a defensive job or a holding job in the middle of the park, and you're always under the cosh. Who could perform? Even if it's Bruce Lee, even if it's Tyson Fury, if you're under the cosh by a team, a squad that's kind of full of confidence, and you know you're fighting against more than one person. You know what I mean? This is the sort of situation that these defensive midfielders find themselves in. And what you saw with yesterday's game is McTominay and Fred could play a proper game, and everybody could see the sort of players they were. I mean, you know, Bruno Fernandes makes Jesse Lingard look good. I mean, literally, even Jesse Lingard looked okay.
Yeah. Hey, I completely agree, mate. You've just been talking a whole lot of sense right there, Henry, mate, to be fair to your son. I'm proud of you, Hen. I am. Because you've been talking a lot of sense there, mate. Like, Fred has had that responsibility taken away a little bit. He can focus a little bit more on just doing his role. And when he actually links up from defence to midfield, he's given it to somebody that's going to go and do something with it, which is a massive positive for Fred, and it allows him to just buzz in there, and it definitely helps out. And you're seeing Fred benefit from that just since Bruno's come in. Like, Fred's probably had his best time over the last few months, but his best time out of that last few months is since Bruno's come in. So I think that tells you everything. I think all the players are going to enjoy playing with Bruno, and like you said, because of the way he plays, because of his attitude, he seems like somebody that is going to drag the team forward, and he's going to be a leader for United. And I just love his nonchalant penalties and his attitude and stuff. Like, why do the little Jonathan Edwards hop, skip and jump? He does it because he's a flamboyant little Portuguese fellow, and he loves it, and I love him for it. Yeah.
No, definitely. He's a communicator. I'll come back to the first point I made about him. Forget about how great a footballer he is and everything else. It's just the way that he is. He's pointing in this direction and that direction, shouting, speaking, but kind of with a smile on his face. You know, it's not like he's getting angry with people. He's just directing. He's like a director. It's like Ridley Scott or something. You know, and that's what you need. That is what you need,
mate. I just want to this has just popped up on my phone. Actually, it's just a vote. Manchester United's app has just popped up with a notification saying who is your player of the month for February. Now there's 3 options, and I just thought I'd bring this up because it's just literally popped up now, and I'm going to vote. The 3 options are Bruno Fernandes, Anthony Martial, and Luke Shaw. And they've all had a very good month, actually. Luke Shaw's looked much better than he had. The last 3 games for Luke Shaw have been great. Martial, I think the first game of February was a little bit of a mare from him, but after that he's been fantastic. And Bruno Fernandes has just come in and absolutely set the world alight. I mean, I don't know. I think it's between Martial and Fernandes, but I am just going to vote right now, and I'm going to give it to Anthony Martial, who's only got 11% of the vote. 85% Bruno Fernandes.
Interesting.
But fair play. I mean, I think Anthony Martial's goals in some of the big games.
I'd have to go with the majority.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But I think Martial's goals in the big games. But there you go. Kungshi says Bruno for sure. Poke says Bruno. Everyone says Bruno. But I actually went for Anthony Martial. I thought he was. I thought he's had a great month. But fair play, yeah. Bruno Fernandes. I mean, how can you deny him the Player of the Month? He's been sensational for United this month since he's come in. The performances absolutely wondrous. Shout out to everybody that's getting in here, by the way. Do us a favour, smash us a like on this video if you can. That would be legendary. Also give it a share. Massive shout out, actually. I want to just give a special shout out to Gungshi, who sent in a cheeky donation here. Gungshi, thank you so much from myself and certainly from the Hen as well for supporting the show as you do, my friend. Let me read out your comment that's gone with it here. He says, just got back from a lovely evening out with my girlfriend and find there's a surprise Pig in the Hen show. Life is good. Oh yeah, Gungers, that's right.
Dessert, isn't it? That is dessert for
cheeky
Gungshi.
Little bit of dessert for sure. Yeah, just like the Arsenal loss last night was a cheeky little bit of dessert for United fans. Oh my days, that was sensational. But yeah, everybody in the live chat says Bruno, so fair enough. But yeah, Eddie A, you've made a very good point here. You said Fred ? Like, why is there no Fred option in there? I agree with you. I think Fred has been a fantastic candidate for Player of the Month for United. So good shout to you, Eddie A. But yeah, an MBG comments here and says bargain deal. I do think that is a massive factor. You know, not only have we stopped other teams from getting such a great player. It's so surprising. End of January, why didn't Spurs sign Bruno Fernandes? You think some of these top clubs would, and the scouts of these top clubs would have seen him play multiple times and knew what sort of a talent he is? I mean, are we just seeing the best of Bruno here, or is this what, you know, the signs of things to come? Because if it is, we've got a heck of a player.
I just don't think that we had the money for him. I mean, who did we sign in January? We signed Bergwijn for 20-something million. And other than that, that's it. I think that's what we had in the kitty. You know, especially the fact that Daniel Levy, when he's pulling them Daniel levers, you know, he's not putting many coins in the slot machine. I'll tell you that. You know what I mean? he's being very careful, very, very much towards the end of, you know, I'm only going to spend the bare minimum.
But he's going to have to start putting those coins in a little bit if he wants to get that goldfish key ring. Do you know what I mean?
I haven't finished yet. Well, I know you're absolutely right. The thing is, United, you know, you were literally, you kept throwing your chips down on that number. And the roulette wheel, the ball wasn't getting in that number, but eventually you got it over the line, and that's the difference. You wanted someone like Bruno Fernandes more than we did, and as you're right, no one else.
I guess we needed him more than anyone else as well. That's the thing.
Why you got him. That's why you got him.
Like with United's situation with the midfield and the injury problems we had around that time, like we actually did need him more than anyone else. But in the end, it has actually turned out pretty well. Like the long drawn out negotiation, sure, it would have been nicer to have him at the start of the season for sure, but we've ended up not paying a ridiculous amount of money for what seems to be one of the top players potentially in the league. So I'm very happy with Bruno anyway. I mean, that's...
Tottenham Hotspur need Aubameyang. That's who we need. We need someone that could just play at the top there and is a goal scorer.
Do you know what?
That's our problem.
What do you think about this, Henry? You just reminded me of something, right? Players you need, you know, at times of the season and stuff like this. Maybe I should have read a little bit more about this, but I read some article the other day that Barcelona, you know, they signed that Braithwaite guy from Leganés they signed Martin Braithwaite, yeah, as a striker because they've got injury problems. They've got nobody up top there that can come in and play. So the league actually granted them like an exclusion, or so that the rules didn't apply, an exemption to the rules, so they can actually sign. So they can actually sign a striker to help them in their run into the end of the season, right? And yet they signed him from a team called Leganes.
Yes.
And Leganes applied for the same thing to have a replacement for Braithwaite outgoing, and they were refused. They were turned down. So I just think that that's almost like pure corruption. Like, how is that even fair? Like, surely Barcelona, a massive club like that, they should just have to field a youth player. They've got a lot of youth talents for sure. Why the hell are they just allowed to sign a player out of the ordinary, and then Leganes, the team that they signed him from, and then not allowed to go and sign a replacement? That is absolute bollocks, mate. I just wanted to talk about that for a second, because that is ridiculous. What's going on?
You might be right, but maybe they turned around to Leganes and said, well, look, do you know what I mean? Obviously, you care more about the money than forget about it. You know?
Fair play, mate. Fair play. But I just think in general, for United, going back to United, like, things are on the up now. Spurs are on a downturn. Chelsea are on a downturn. Arsenal are melters. As long as United do get a result against Everton, it's like our chances of top four are massive. And even if we don't get the result against Everton, we've still got very good chance of getting top five. With the team, we're getting stronger when the other teams are getting weaker, man.
It's a big Sunday fixture, Super Sunday. Obviously, you've got Everton, Tottenham have got Wolverhampton Wanderers. So it's massive. I mean, Wolves are still in the mix. They're there or thereabouts.
That's a huge game. That's a 6 pointer,
obviously,
mate.
Everton with Carlo. So we've got great fixtures here on Sunday. It's such a shame that Tottenham do not have the teeth right now. We've been to the dentist and we've come away, not happy with the service because we are missing incisors. It's like that right now. But we're just going to have to make do.
Yeah, that's the only reason I would say. I think Jose, up until the Son injury and up until the Kane injury, was probably doing a decent job considering where Spurs were when he took over from Pochettino. So he was doing an okay job, but it's definitely going to be a massive blow to lose those sorts of players, both of them at the same time. I think Son's only out for a few weeks though, isn't he? But even so, like, it's a bad time for it to happen.
No, Son's out till the end of the season.
Oh, is he as well? Crikey,
end of the season.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So they're both out till pretty much end of the season, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that is not good for Spurs. But yeah, it's good for United. Definitely good for all the other teams fighting for those spots. And I do fear for Tottenham now. Well, not so much fear, but hope for Tottenham that they melt, which will probably happen. But United will benefit from that. United are getting stronger. Bruno's the man. Igalo's come in. Looks bang up to the task. Martial's hitting form. We've got Mason Green with the young Messiah. All the backline have started to gel a little bit. We're looking like we've got a Bailey-Maguire connection. McTominay came back into the side yesterday. Shout out to Scotty McTominay, by the way. The passion, the celebration, the performance, the effort levels. This lad is bloody quality. And he scored a goal as well. It's great to have him back around because he was a big loss when he left. We really struggled over that period with our midfield. But now we've got McTominay back. We've got Fred looking like a great player. We've got Bruno Fernandes in there, Pogba to come back into it. Like, we are all of a sudden in a very strong position in the midfield, which is crazy. I mean, not as strong as we would still like it to be, maybe, but certainly we've got a lot of options there. So, positive stuff. United are going to get top five. That's it.
Yeah, I'm bored about.
I know. Yeah. Well, we'll move on then, and I just want to talk about another thing that you'll probably be a little bit bored about as well, which. But it's a factor. It's like, I don't understand how anybody at this moment in time now can still be saying Ollie out and all this stuff, because they wind me up, all these people. There's still people saying to me Ollie out and all this business. And fair enough, but what for? Like, what would you say would happen, Henry, if Pochettino had been appointed at the start of this season, right? And he bought the same players and developed the players in the same way and got them to this point, and we're fifth at the moment and in the Europa League Last stages and in the FA Cup, and had signed Bruno and had signed Wan-Bissaka and had signed Maguire and had got rid of some of the deadwood and had put them in this situation now, and after having Bruno we start scoring goals and the style's improving. Would you think people would be happy with Pochettino right now?
I think they
would, wouldn't they? I think they would be happy with Pochettino right now.
This is what's so
bloody ridiculous about it.
Is that, they look at, this is the thing, Pochettino, they think, yeah, he's a proper manager. Solskjaer, who is he? He's what, Molde or Mulder or whatever they're called, Cardiff. You know what I mean? They just dismiss him. I mean, I think I probably have said once or twice I don't think that Solskjaer is the right man for United, but I'm not always right. I might have
said that once or twice.
Wrong, but But certainly what I definitely have said is it's a results business, and he needs to be finishing with United in a decent position. And if it was something like 8th or less, he needs to lose his job. And surely you've got to agree with me now that I'm right in my analysis of that, because right now you are looking at top 5 minimum, really trying to push Chelsea for that 4th spot, and That's what you got to be looking at. So anything less than that is a bit of a failure, and Poch will swoop straight in if you don't get something close to that. I'm telling you right now.
A little while ago we were having that debate about the top 8 thing, and I was saying that if they don't give him the squad, the players that he needs, and that kind of thing, then yeah, absolutely. But because he has now got Bruno and he has now got Gallo in January, there is that added expectation now for him to do a bit better. Plus, with the other teams are a factor as well with how they're doing. So yeah, his job security now, it is pretty much, for a lot of fans as well, a lot of these fickle fans that we're talking about, it pretty much hinges on him qualifying for the Champions League. Now, whether that's via the Europa League or finishing in the top 5, it doesn't really matter. But he's going to have to get us. He's going to have to get us qualified for the Champions League, I think, to keep his job. But if he does do that, I absolutely think United will be in a good position. We'll have had players that are improving, steadily, that he's brought on very, very well. We'll have had good signings that have come in by him. And we'll have another window in the summer to hopefully try and rectify some more of these problem areas we've got on the side. Maybe Pogba going out, a couple more players going out, and a few players coming in. And there you go. Then nobody could say, oh, this isn't Ollie's team. He's still dealing with leftovers. He's still dealing with hangers on or deadwood and all this stuff. Nobody can say that after the next window, but I think he does deserve the next window. And for me personally, if we battle to the end of the season and we try our absolute guts out and maybe we just miss out on Champions League or whatever, it's not, I wouldn't want him to go. I wouldn't want him to go. I've seen enough from it. For me, it doesn't hinge on getting top 5, but for the majority of fans, like we were saying, some are quite fickle.
Top 8, mate. Top 8. Like I said, he needs to be finished 7th or
I think if he finished 8th now or 7th, 7th, he would. I don't know if it depends on how it plays out, but I don't think he would benefit from finishing 7th.
Yeah, 7th is he keeps his job. 8th, he's gone.
I like to think that would happen, because I think most people would understand that he has done a good rebuilding job so far, and he's only had just over a year. So I think most people would actually understand that, but I think there would be a lot of fan outrage to stick with him if he finished 7th. Not from me, absolutely not. I would want to stick with him because of what I've seen him do in other areas, but finishing 7th, that's just gonna, most people are just gonna write him off.
Pressure's, I'll tell you what, pressure is off Mourinho now. Jose, you almost see it in some of his press conferences. I mean, this is almost like, it's not a negative on Jose, but it's something that I've picked up on that I don't think that most Spurs fans would say, or most people would understand. But I actually think that there's a massive relief for Jose right now. Of course, he doesn't want his major players injured, but the fact that Kane and Son is out, it means that he's got the biggest excuse, hasn't he? He can literally pretty much lose every game, and it's like, well, Tottenham were not ready for this. Fans for years. I mean, for the last handful of seasons, I've always been saying we need backup for Kane. You can't just rely on Son. Son's injured now. I mean, bloody hell, we knew this seasons ago, and it's happening now. So I mean, Jose, every press conference now is like, well, what he's going to be saying. It's like, end of the day, we're doing the best we can, and that's exactly how it is. It's just kind of a bit of a boring time for a Tottenham player in many respects. Jose's going to stay. We're going to try and do the best we can. And it's almost just like, bear it out to the end of the season and wait for next year. That's what it's about.
Yeah,
right now.
So I think it has, you're spot on there. I think it's given Jose a bit of a let-off for not getting top 5 this season now, because, like you say, the players are out. He's just got a complete out. And he'll say that, and the fans will agree with him, and he won't get sacked, and he'll have the summer transfer window. And he shouldn't get sacked anyway, because he's not had much time at all. You can't base it on this season.
Of course.
But just going back to Ollie, Matt Rush, thank you, Matt Rush, bloody legend, has sent in a super chat here saying, actually looking forward to Everton. Ollie sorted the deadwood and brought in good players. All positive vibes. Fully agree, Matt. Like, the positivity around the club now is night and day compared to the state that Jose left it in, both in terms of the squad. I mean, look at the smiley face out there. Look at the celebrations. Look at the team unity already. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has really brought this team together. He's brought some characters in there as well. You know, it's not just about the talents, and he's got rid of some dodgy, questionable characters as well. You know, Bruno Mars impersonators on 500k a week are only there for God knows what reason, walking his dogs on stony beaches. Who knows? But either way, he's got rid of some of the deadwood. He's done some wonders in some ways. We've not done one against the lesser teams this season. The idea was to get somebody who can be like the key in our midfield to unlock defences. Well, we've got that now, so that shouldn't be so much of an issue. We've also got another goal scorer up there. So, yeah, I agree with you, Matt. Things are looking good. Everything's positive at United. Get in there, my son. Mark Sin, how you doing, mate? You're in the house, lad. How you getting on? Thank you very much for doing the quiz the other day, mate. Are you up for doing a cheeky little quiz today, I wonder? Let me know if you are in the live chat. Would you be up for doing that, Hen? I know we're going to keep it reasonably short.
Well, I would be, but come on. I mean, what have you been in conversation with Mark before now? It's like, you know, he's probably trying to enjoy his Friday night. I don't know if he's got a girlfriend, got a wife, or whatever he does on his Friday evening or late afternoon. He's probably got plans, and then suddenly it's like, oh, I don't suppose you got a cheeky little quiz for us, Mark? I think you're well out of order, pig. I think you're well out of order.
Well, to be fair, I did send him a message before we went live just saying, let me know in the live chat if you could do a quiz, but no worries if not, obviously, because it's just a random show. But yeah, Mark Sins has not got anything ready, sadly. Oh, he says, got a good quiz for Wednesday, though.
I'm not surprised, pig. What do you expect? Oh, so should we get rid of Mark? Should we get like some kind of quiz guy that's actually
somebody that can freestyle? You mean? Like, how hard is it, mate? You know, just think of something and then ask a question. It's not actually that hard. Like, I don't know. Who won the 1970 World Cup, Henry?
You know, he's a good guy.
Who won the 1970 World Cup?
Italy,
no,
was it?
It was Brazil. But anyway.
Brazil.
Yeah, anyway, you see, that's a question. I knew the knowledge in my head, so I just asked it as a question. It's not rocket science, Henry. Like, I could do this for 10 questions, no worries.
Yeah, I know. I think we need to drop Mark Sin, innit? I mean, he's a nice guy, you know, but we got to put aside, you know, our actual affection for the bloke, and we need to consider who's actually going to make the most business sense for the future of the show, don't we?
That is harsh. But anyway, Mark said he does a top job, but he says he was too busy crying himself to sleep last night after Arsenal's debacle. I don't blame him.
I forget he's an Arsenal fan. I know, disgusting. Let's sack him. Let's sack him off, mate.
Thank you to everybody that is getting in here in the live chat today. Please do us a favour and smash a little like on this video if you're in here. Subscribe if you're not. Give it a share if you can. Jarvis Cocker says, I'm at my office finishing up some work while listening to you two legends. Can't wait to get home and pop myself a beer and chill. Have a great weekend, guys. Same to you, Jarvis. That goes for everybody in here. I mean, yeah, we were just going to keep it to a short show today, Henry. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, United have been drawn against, fucking hell, what's their name? I never even bloody heard of them before. Lask Linz in the Europa League, which is a great tie for us, really. But then it's also one of...
It must be, because I never heard of them.
Never heard of them. Lask Linz. Like, who is that? But anyway, they're actually first in the Austrian Bundesliga right now, so they must be a decent team, because they're first in the Austrian Bundesliga, which isn't a bad standard league. It's obviously, you know, not a top standard league either, but they must be decent. You've got to respect them, because it's one of those sort of games where United are going to be heavy favourites, and we're going to have to really be on our game and work just as hard at them and try absolute hardest. Otherwise, it's just one of those ones you could slip up in. You know, it sounds like one of those potential banana skins.
Well, that's it. I mean, that's the thing. I know nothing about this team. Obviously, it's an Austrian side that have been doing okay in the previous season. I don't know anything about them at all. So yeah, I mean, obviously, it's Manchester United. You should be expecting to do well, especially the fact that the results have kind of been going your way recently. I mean, I did want to say that, you know, what I am concerned that the European football this season is under threat. I mean, you know, I'm not going to bang on about the coronavirus like I have been doing in previous Pig and the Hen shows, but the fact is, obviously, you've got a bit of an issue in Italy right now, especially in Milan. And bottom line, you know, you're getting cases crop up here and there over Europe, we need to be having the discussion that could we be looking at some kind of cancellation of European football this season? I think it is a possibility.
Yes, mate. Yeah, I think it might actually happen. What sporting events being called off? You're already seeing it. There was a box. Yeah.
But this is what I mean. Someone caught it. Some Croatian guy caught it from a match.
Really?
He went to a match in Milan, right? A Croatian guy. Yeah, sorry. Zagreb. Where's that? Where's Zagreb? Where is that?
Yeah, that's Croatia, mate. That's Croatia.
I read it earlier. Yeah, there we go. So a Croatian bloke, he went to Italy for a match in Milan. This is what the news article said, and he's now tested positive for coronavirus. This is what concerns me. As I said, I'm not going to talk about coronavirus right now, but I'm talking about it in terms of football. If this is the case where people are going to matches and getting infected, then this could be an issue for football.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even thought about that, really. Like you were talking about the other day, though, it would be kind of quite interesting if Liverpool's title was actually halted because they had to sort of postpone the Premier League, which is kind of feasible.
Right, yeah.
If it gets to the point where in the UK there is a bit more...
I don't think that's going to happen, but I worry more about the Europa League and the Champions League right now. That's where I think this is going to be affected if it is going to affect football this season.
Yes, mate. Well, you've already seen it happen with a lot of other stuff. I mean, of course, the Olympics were supposed to be in China this year, right?
Japan.
Okay, yeah. So
yes, and they're talking about
Yeah, well, they may well have to, mate. They may well have to.
That it is going ahead. They say that it's going ahead, but we'll have to wait and see, like with everything now.
Yeah, I mean, that it sounds like a ridiculous thing to go ahead with right now in this summer, with loads of international travel and everybody coming from everywhere, and how would they possibly keep on top of that? So I think if this situation is the same or not improved, certainly by the summertime, then they should just sack that off. That's a bad idea. That is the sad reality of it.
Yeah, I don't want to turn the show into a depressing note right now, but yeah, I mean, I do worry for European football, because if you've had infected people or people that have become infected after going to matches in Italy, and obviously Italy, massive footballing nation when it comes to Champions League, when it comes to the Europa League, I think they still have teams in all of those both of those competitions, do they not? I'm pretty sure they do. So this will become a problem. Last round of 16, we're all looking forward to it. We're looking forward to the quarterfinals, etc. But I hope that it all goes ahead as planned. We said it here first on the Pig and the Hen bonus show. We said it here first. Let's hope that we're wrong. Well, let's hope I'm wrong.
Yes, mate, I agree. Yeah. One other thing which is quite interesting, and I don't know if you saw this, but the Premier League is introducing a Hall of Fame. So like how NFL or boxing and all these things, they have their Hall of Fames where they sort of celebrate the retired stars of the game, and so the Premier League is introducing a Hall of Fame, and they're going to have 2 inaugural inductees. And I just thought it was interesting to see who you think should be the 2 inaugural inductees of the Premier League. I don't know if it's going to be managers or players, or maybe both. So you've got to factor that in.
Okay, so the two biggest people of the Premier League,
only the 2 biggest
since 1993.
Not necessarily the 2
Is that
biggest,
what you're saying?
I guess the 2 most worthy,
the 2 most iconic,
maybe even of the earlier era of the Premier League, really, because the way that Hall of Fames work is you're generally honouring people that have retired, and I guess the longer it goes on, the more modern it will get. So they'll start with the older ones, won't they?
Well, for me, it's pretty easy. It's got to be Sir Alex Ferguson, and it's got to be Alan Shearer.
Yeah.
Those would be the 2 for me.
Fair play, mate. That is quite a good, strong pick there, mate. Fair play. You've got to choose Sir Alex Ferguson, don't you? He's got to be the first manager on the list, just having won it so many times. To me, I'd actually, maybe it's a bit biased, but to me, the player, I'd actually choose Ryan Giggs, just because he won the most Premier Leagues, which I think is a massive pick. But Shearer's got the most goals of that era. He was an absolute assassin up there. So that is a very good pick, Henry. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Shearer was the record breaker, and he still holds
the record.
Records,
yeah, fair play to the lad. He's a lunatic. That is a good pick, Henry. And of course, if it was 2 managers, it would have to be Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex, wouldn't it? Just the 2 longest-serving managers. Jose would be in with a shout as well, but if it's just 2 at the moment, I think probably those 2.
Not for the Premier League.
No, not just yet.
Jose, not for the Premier League.
Not for the Premier League, but he won literally the Premier League with Chelsea 2 years in a row, and and won a bunch of things.
Still not good enough. Still not good enough. No, I
One
mean,
day he will be in the, you know, he will be in the Premier League
float
Hall of
around.
Fame. But you're right, as terms of managers. Anyway, I think how it will work, to be fair, like I said, I think it'll be the older generation. What I mean by that is the 90s managers and players and things like that that are inducted first. I could be wrong. But yeah, fair play. So you choose Sir Alex and Shearer. I choose Sir Alex and Giggsy. Quality.
Yes.
What do you guys think in the comment section? Get your thoughts and opinions in here. Alex the Rincon Meister says Fergie and Giggs. Giggs is the most decorated player in the Premier League and Fergie is the greatest English manager of all time. Has to be them. That's my reasoning as well. That's my thinking. Just longevity, success over that time period. It does make quite a bit of sense, to be fair.
Trouble is, I know it's got nothing to do with his football record, but Giggsy slept with his brother's missus. And end of the day, honestly, that does have an effect. I'm not saying that's my personal opinion that he shouldn't be decorated.
It's nothing to do with
that
though, is it? I mean, it's football. It's nothing to do with he knobbed his brother's bloody missus, which is absolutely awful. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about football achievements. Okay, so from what you're telling me, John Terry. No, you've triggered me on this one. John Terry shouldn't be ever considered being Hall of Fame because of his racism. Is that what you're saying? Because he had one incident at one time where he said one horrible thing to Anton Ferdinand in the heat of battle, which I'm not excusing, and it is terrible. But you're just writing his contribution to the Premier League off because of one incident.
Hang on a sec. He had to go on Wayne Bridges' missus as well, didn't he? So.
Well, there you go. But is that acceptable? Where do you draw the line? It's a teammate's missus.
No, I'm not saying I'm not the one that's choosing whether these people deserve these places in the Hall of Fame or not. What I'm saying is there's a strong chance that whoever is picking these people, these things might play on their minds. So you might see people like Giggsy and John Terry not quite making the cut because of it. Whether that's right or wrong, that's up for debate. I'm not taking sides here. I'm just saying.
In a public vote, if it was a public vote, those players are going to have some votes avoided by people because of their personal situations, for sure. But even me, like, if I think of the best captains, like, to choose the best captains in Premier League history or era, to me, it's Roy Keane, it's John Terry, it's, who else? Vincent Kompany, Brian Robson, Tony Adams, Patrick Vieira. These guys, these are the best captains, right? But sure. You've got to take them for what they are, which some of them are almost animals. Like Roy Keane was a bit of an animal there, talking about Alfing Haaland leg breakers and stuff.
Sure.
But they're tenacious. They went to war. And John Terry, say what you want about him. I think he's an absolute tool. He's a dirtbag. He did the dirty on Wayne Bridge, and he's he has shown signs of racism in the past there. People say he's not. Ashley Cole says he's not. Fair play. He probably just said something stupid in one moment. I always remember an incident with Peter Schmeichel and Ian Wright where Peter Schmeichel said something a little bit racist to Ian Wright, but then there was a video of Ian Wright saying something about Schmeichel being a Danish whatever you are and all this stuff before. So, people say stuff in the heat of battle. It doesn't mean that they should just be taken out the Football Hall of Fame for an incident.
Well, this is it. I mean, the racial stuff doesn't bother me. People say silly shit all the time. But when you actually flop your cock out and stick it into a teammate's missus...
But a teammate's missus, look, I think, where'd you draw the line, though, for the Hall of Fame?
Let alone your brother's missus.
Fair play, yeah. I mean, the brothers, but like, it's not good. I get uncomfortable talking about it.
Come on, mate.
As a young lad...
It's easy to say some words that are derogatory to another race. Everybody does it, and it's not good. But like I say, you need an erect penis, and you're sticking it in something that you shouldn't be. That is a sin.
Oh my days, Henry Hotspur. Fair play. What can I say? It is an uncomfortable thing to talk about because he's just a hero of mine. But yeah, if you want to factor that in, fair enough. But I'm not factoring it in. I'm just looking at his achievements as a footballer. But you bring up a good point. I'm sure a lot of people will think that way.
So do they have statues? Is it statues that they do in this Hall of Fame?
I don't really know what they're doing, actually.
So if they do have statues, then you've got to have a statue of Ryan Giggs with his cock out, sticking it up his brother's missus. You know what I mean? Okay, I'd accept that then, because it's like, we can appreciate the fact that he was a legend, but at the same time, that's what he did at his worst moment.
Oh my days, Henry! I love your outlook on life, mate. I do. Fair play to you. Fair play. But yeah, Ryan Giggs to me, he still deserves to be. But I can understand the whole Shearer pick. Who else is some good picks, lads and lasses? Like who else deserves to be in the Football Hall of Fame? Like, who would you put in there from that 90s era? It's hard to sort of not choose anybody. Like, most of the players are going to have to come from, Manchester United and Arsenal, I guess, to begin with, like the two most successful teams of that sort of an era. Of course, there's other players, other teams, Liverpool, players like Robbie Fowler was absolutely prolific in terms of goal scoring in the 90s for a while. Guys like that.
Peter Schmeichel, for me, is a special player.
Great shout. Peter Schmeichel, probably the best goalkeeper in the Premier League ever. Alongside, some of the greats. But people like David Seaman, he'll be another goalkeeper shout. Not as good as Schmeichel, but certainly a great keeper for England and Arsenal over a long time. He'll probably be the second goalkeeper inducted into the Hall of Fame. Do you know what I mean? Definitely.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Scholesy says, Jabs iOS, thank you very much for having your say. Matty Rush, thanks so much, but he says, smash a like for the pig. Yeah, if you are tuning in, we'll probably wrap this up in about 5 minutes or so, because we did want to keep it to about an hour. But great chat with Henry here. Great conversation about Bruno and United. I'm feeling very positive. Alex says, Joey Barton isn't Hall of Fame material, so I don't even know why we're entertaining that. Or some people suggested Joey Barton. What's he getting in the Hall of Fame for being an absolute twat? He was a shite player, wasn't he?
Well, you could have the Hall of Fame, and then you could have the Hall of Shame.
Yeah, he's got to be in the Hall of Shame.
People like Steven Gerrard when he slips
people like
up
Adam
and
Johnson.
Stuff, or David James when he's playing too much FIFA. Or Adam Johnson, where
Ched Evans.
He's fondling, young'uns.
People like these guys.
Or what a Ched Evans. Yeah.
Actually, he didn't even play a...
Bloody hell.
But yeah, that's a good point, actually. I like that. Just to end the show on, Henry, let's just have a little think. Who are the most disgraceful players that have played in the league? Luis Suarez for racially abusing Patrice Evra. He's a dirtbag, isn't he? He gets in the Hall of Shame for me.
Yeah, well, his statue would be taking a chunk of bite.
Yeah, and biting people, exactly. Yeah,
or whatever he does.
Also, the Liverpool team that defended Luis Suarez's racism and actually wore T-shirts saying "We stand with Louis" and all this stuff. Bloody hell! Even Jamie Carragher recently came out and said that they shouldn't have done that. And it was a bad situation that they shouldn't have gone through with in the end, in hindsight. So yeah, they're in there. Who else is in there? Any more Premier League era scummers? Tevez. Great shout by Eddie A. Says Tevez, 100% Tevez the turncoat. Do you remember that incident as well where he didn't even want to get off the bench and play for City that time? In the Champions League. I forget, was it Mancini? I forget who it was the manager. But they called him off the bench to come on as a sub. And he's like, no, I'm not playing, mate. Don't fancy it. Like, you're on 200k a week, prick. Get up.
not too keen on that, mate. Not so sure about coming on, actually, mate.
Well, there's a couple of the drug cheat guys, or not cheats, but like Adrian Mutu and Mark Bosnich, some of the cokeheads you've got to put in there.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. What about a bit of...
Robbie Savage, Matt Rush, great
What's
shout.
his name?
What about Lee Catamol? He's just generally a dirty bastard,
Mesut Ozil when he stays in the car whilst Kolasinac sorts out the threat.
Yeah, well, Mesut Ozil's just a complete mess of the Premier League. So yeah, I agree with that.
Absolute melt job.
But yeah, good topic. Eddie, if you can think of any other ones, let us know, lads and lasses. Love to know. Yeah, some people would say a couple of United players probably deserve to be in there for some of their antics over the years. People like Roy Keane as well.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Charlie Adams says Alex. Apadou Nikhil says Beckham. Nah, definitely not. Beckham was an absolute saint.
Dele Alli.
Mark Sin says Robbie Fowler sniffing the white lines off the pitch. That was absolutely amazing when he did that, to be fair. But yeah, he was there was talk of him being on the coke as well. Lots of footballers being on the coke. Di Maria the Snake. Absolutely, that's another good one.
Eduardo could be in there, no fault of his own, but literally like leg broken statue, isn't it? It's just iconic, isn't it? Like, it's like a museum of like events that shaped the Premier League for years to come. Everyone will always remember the Eduardo incident.
So what are you trying to paint a picture of here? Like that episode of Black Mirror, the Black Museum or whatever, where they go in and they've just got like a projection of Arsene Wenger crying or Steven Gerrard slipping and stuff like that.
Well, those certain moments in time as a football fan that you will always remember. I mean, that would be a sick museum, wouldn't it? you walk through. They've got
that, Henry.
You know,
they
the video footage or whatever it is, and they talk about what happened, and it'll be
I think they do have that. The football museum in Manchester.
Some of you chicklets, you piglets and chicklets out there, you know.
Yeah, I'll probably go to that one day, mate. There is a big footy museum in Manchester. I don't know how good it is or if it's that kind of thing, but yeah. Nice one, mate. Any thoughts at the end here, just to leave us with Henry Hotspur before we wrap this show up?
No, not so much. Not so much. I mean, you know, we have been in discussions, have we not? Because the thing is with the Pig and the Hen show, I think the format is brilliant. We were having call-ins at the end of the Pig and the Hen show, but it's almost become. There's almost so much that we do in the show. Obviously, we've got the Melter of the Moment, the Nutbag of Note. Then we've got Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Then, you know, we've got obviously a Question of Sin with Mark Sin. And, you know, we never have time for call-ins anymore. So the question is, do we have a separate dedicated show, especially for, you know, we're kind of thinking something like Friday football phone-ins with Pig and the Hen, something like that, you know? That's what we need to be talking about. I agree.
We should do that.
That could become a possibility.
That should be happening very, very soon. We're just going to finalise a day and a time and everything to do a proper phone-in show with the fans of the channel or anybody that wants to call in and talk to us. Because the thing is with the Pig and the Hen show is like it's just branded as a podcast. There's no phone-in, and so I think if we had a dedicated phone-in show, then more people would phone in, and it would just be a lot more of a rapid phone-in type show, and we could just do it for like an hour, try and take like 10 calls or something in that time, bish bash bosh. Could be a good show, you know. So we're going to set that up. We're going to do that, but at the end of the Pig and the Hen as well, it's like sometimes we just ramble on for hours and hours. We've got stuff to do, you know. The show's hours long as well, and plus I think people will be looking for it more and looking to call it more when there's a dedicated show waiting for it. So yeah, we'll definitely do that, mate. It'd be great to hear from all of you guys, any of you legends that haven't called in and spoken to us. You know, I'm looking at the likes of Gungers, Razert, Griffo, Chaz here, DJ Samuel, Illy United, Mark Sin, Football with Brownie, Gary Wells, Devil of a Red, Cantonar 7, sorry, just a bit of gas. All of you, we would love to hear from you, see, on a phone-in show.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got nothing else to add. Do we have any other comments that are in desperate need of reading? Anyone need to get their view across right now? Let's have a quick look at that, and then we'll call the show to an end. I believe.
Yeah, we better wrap it up soon. So a few people in the Hall of Shame. So we were talking about the Premier League Hall of Fame, the Hall of Shame. Hall of Shame. Some people said, let's see, Vinnie Jones, maybe a decent shout. Bruce Grobbelaar got to be in there for match fixing, definitely, or doing that, taking the bungs and all that. He's got to be in there. Who else has got to be in there? Kevin Nolan, says Razak. Darren Bent, says DJ Samuel. Okay. A little bit harsh, I think, on Darren Bent. What did Darren Bent do? Have I forgotten? Has he done something bad?
Kicked a balloon.
Illy United says, what about Bentley from Spurs? He was a melter.
Yes. Yeah, he definitely needs to be in there.
He was an absolute melter, yeah. Eddie says Skirtle, the knobhead. Fair play.
Can't believe people still remember that Bentley. Do you know what I mean? I've actually eviscerated that prick from my mind.
Right, nice one. Yeah, we'll wrap the show up then. We've done about an hour now, so thank you to all of you legends for tuning in. Just a bonus Pig and the Hen show here to talk about the sort of once the dust has settled on the game last night. Obviously, Henry tuned in, I tuned in and watched it. It was a good performance for United. It did fill us with a lot of positives. I wanted to just talk about Bruno and of course just the overall team performance and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I just feel like there's a bit of positivity around United at the moment. So thank you very much for joining me, Hen. Thanks so much for getting involved. Everybody in the live chat as well. You know who you are. The bloody legends. Thanks everybody for supporting the show. All the super chatters here. The Triple A's, Alex Rudd and Archie. And Matt Rush, of course. And also Gungshi, bloody legend. Thank you so much for tuning in. There'll be lots of content coming over the weekend. Of course, Manchester United playing Everton on Sunday. I may even do a watch-along for the League Cup final, possibly. I'm not sure about that yet. And maybe something on Saturday. But I am going to try and frantically work and get a fire in my room out to you guys tomorrow, which is going to be a little bit difficult. But I need to finish writing it. Maybe that'll be out there. So keep a look out for that. There'll be content on the channel. Thank you, Henry, for joining me. Sorry, who did you say Spurs have got again? Wolves?
So we got Wolves. It's on at the same time as your fixture. Obviously, Manchester United against Everton. So I will be, walking down, about a 5-minute walk down to somewhere called Walkabout, just a little kind of Aussie.
Serious?
bar
We've got
on,
one. We've
you
got
know,
one
on
in
the
town, mate. Don't
beachfront
we?
here.
Is it the same as that?
We do, I know. Same name,
It's not the same
name.
brand.
It's not the same.
Okay.
But anyway, I'll be sat down there. They'll probably have the United game on, and I'll be telling them to change it. And hopefully, I won't get opposing fans sort of saying, "Shut up, you Spurs scum." Hopefully, that won't happen, and they will just play the Tottenham game. So that's what I'm hoping for anyway. Otherwise, I'll have to find another bar.
Nice one, yeah. Well, we've got Everton, so we'll see what happens. It's must win at this moment in time, really, or not. I guess must win, but whoever wins is really going to sort of cement themselves for the top 5. And what I mean by that is, whether it's Wolves, whether it's Spurs, if Everton beat United, they're right back in there. It's got the potential to blow everything wide open or close everything down a little bit this weekend. So it's massively variable. We'll see what happens. We'll catch you on the channel over the weekend, and of course, Pig the Hen shows every single Wednesday. And keep your eyes peeled for a phone-in show as well. If you see that, please do try and get involved and contribute and interact with us. We love to hear from you lads and lasses. So, brilliant. In fact, I say lads and lasses, but we've never had a lady phone into the show, have we, Hen? So if there's a lady out there, there's a few that watch the show.
You don't know.
If there's a lady tuning in, then maybe they could phone in.
We might have done. It might have been a lady. But just with a guy's name. We don't know, do we? It's not like they phone in and we say, "Are you male?" Is it? So I think
True. I definitely shouldn't assume
there.
someone's gender just by the tone of their voice anymore. You can't do that. You can't say Mr. or Ma'am or Madam on the phone anymore. You have to say.
That's it. Tony Smith phones in and it's like, well, it could be a girl, mate. It doesn't matter how they sound.
Fair play. Good point, mate. Wouldn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Anyway, thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. You're a bunch of legends. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you soon on the Pig the Hen show on Wednesday. Make sure you do tune in. Come back in a few minutes' time, actually, lads and lasses, once this video's finished. And you can have your say in the not live comments. I'll respond to them. Henry hopefully respond to them. And we'll get back to you with anything you want to discuss or any points that we've made in the show. Once again, massive thank you.
Very much. I'd just like to...
No, you go.
Go on. Sorry. I'd just like to apologise that on the last Pig and the Hen show, we didn't actually do our outro correctly with our little animal noises. So we're going to do it for you well on this show, on this bonus show, just to make up for that.
Nice one.
Sorry.
Gung Sheep spamming the Pig and the Hen emojis. Thank you very much. Gary Wells, Razak, Mark Sin, Cantonar 7, Illy United, Devil of a Red, Sadek Ramen, Morgan Free Person, Gary Wells, I've said you again. I know, that's a great one, isn't it? Fits into that whole don't assume my gender thing, doesn't it? Sadek, yeah, Viking Red, The Music Fiend, everybody else, thanks very much for getting in here. Who else have I missed out there? LA Brit, Football with Brownie, Wallace Montcroy Stewart, one of the channel members, legend, how could I forget him? Cameron Ketch, Eddie A. There's a bunch of you bloody legends in here. Farn141, apologies if I've missed you out, but please come back and let me know if I did. Do us a favour before you go, smack a like on this video, subscribe, come back and comment in a few minutes' time. Tune in for the Wednesday show, tune in for the watch along this weekend. Come on, United, we've got to smash up Everton and cement ourselves in the top 5. But Bruno coming in, Ollie at the wheel, everything is looking rosy. Thank you so much for tuning in today. You've been watching the Pig and the Hen show. I have been the Pig.
And I have been the Hen.
And we will see you next time. Take it easy.
Pig and the Hen. Pig and the
Right there, mate. Pig in the Hen show. Pig in the Hen show. Right there, mate.
Pig in the Hen show.
Corona.
Maybe. Hope not. Yeah, maybe.
Pig in the Hen show.
Should be all right.
Nice one. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Great show today. Thanks to Henry for joining me. Just a bit of a bonus impromptu show. I appreciate everyone that was able to stop by and watch. Do chuck a like on it for us. Do give us a share on social media if you can. I'll post it on Twitter in a little bit as well. If anybody can share that, that'd be legendary. But this is just the rolling credits to say thank you to all the Patreon supporters that do support Flying Pig United on Patreon. You're much appreciated. Alex Rudd, Alex Rincon, E. Kalul, Matt Norton here, as you can see, Lucinda Green, Robbo, Liam White, Gungshi, Jarvis Cocker, Pete Miller, Wallace Montcroy Stewart, Marshall Graller, and Wallace's son Adam, by the way, The Saint, Steve Johnson, Red Devil United 77, Sev the Panda, Mark Dolman, bunch of bloody legends, all of you. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you over the weekend for some more football stuff. We'll see you then. Take it easy. Come on, United.